Hello.
Hi.
I think before we get into anything and even start the podcast, we're going to just let everyone know that this is a spoonless episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that we're both knackered. And
Yeah.
so we will do not the normal structure of the podcast. So prepare yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We are still going to do the intro though, aren't we?
Yeah.
That'll be the Tism.
Welcome to episode 30 of That'll Be the Tism.
I'm Emma.
And I'm Claire.
And we are a podcast about our lives as late diagnosed neurodivergent people trying to adult.
Woo! So 30 episodes is quite impressive, really, isn't it?
I think it's quite cool. I'm quite proud of us.
Mm.
Yeah, we do an all right job, I think.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you also think we do an all right job, please do let us know by rating us on your podcast provider of choice and or commenting and emailing us and things. We are happy to hear when people enjoy the podcast. It always makes us smile.
Yes.
It's nice.
And we are not happy to hear when people don't enjoy the podcast, so just don't keep those opinions to yourself.
Yeah, we don't care. Well, we probably would care too much.
We would.
Not now.
So,
If you haven't got anything nice to say,
yeah.
just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Jog on.
I would say that's what my mum always used to say, but we're not doing jingles and things. I can still mention my mum, but she's not having a jingle. Sorry.
We're not editing them in. It's too much work.
Sorry, mums.
It's going to be too warm. We've both got too much to do, and the headspace is too much. And so we are recording the podcast. We will very mildly edit the podcast, and we'll take out anything inappropriate that we happen to say, because often there are inappropriate things. Not that anyone would know,
Often.
because we're very good. We're very good at editing the podcast. We are. I think we're good at editing the podcast anyway. Usually, I end up saying something that I shouldn't say, and we have to take it out. But apart from that, we're not faffing about with all the noises. No offense to, I mean, they are great and we love them, but
They are, but they are not for spoonless episodes. That's an executive decision that we have made.
yes.
Because spoonless episodes are episodes where there's no energy, so we don't have energy for jingles.
For anyone who has not experienced a spoonless episode before, which it's been a while, I think, since we've done one. It feels like a long time since we've done one. But it's just around the spoon theory that you only have so many spoons of energy in a day and you have to decide where you distribute those spoonfuls of energy. And we do not have any spare spoons to put into the podcast currently, given all of the other things. So we call them spoonless episodes for that reason. And hopefully you'll enjoy. Yes.
You'll enjoy the lack of spoons.
Yes.
So there won't be in this episode any real structure. We're not having a main segment. We're not having a trait of the week. We're not having a random factoid unless one just randomly appears.
Which it might. But we are going to talk about our hyperfocuses and just see where that leads us.
Yes, we'll talk about our weeks and the things that
our minds have been
occupied with.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah. So how have you been, Claire, in this past fortnight?
Well, I think it started off reasonably all right because it did. I was in a reasonably good headspace. I'm not in a terrible one now, but I am far more anxious. And one of my oldest friend got married. So I went to her wedding after party. What's it called? Reception, I suppose.
Yeah.
And that was lovely.
Congratulations to listener.
Yes, congratulations to listener. So that was nice to see her and to spend a bit of time with her new husband. It made me remember my wedding and how there was such a big build up to it all and everything happening, and it was such like really day and then just like nothing, and then you've got a new name to get used to if you're choosing to do that. We've got like the aftermath of all of that planning's done and everything's over and everybody had a lovely time, and like what next?
I've booked my thing. I've booked my next thing for after my wedding. because I have signed up for my next coaching accreditation,
Oh, yes.
which starts the Thursday before my wedding. So I'm really proud of myself, to be honest, and I'm really pleased with the timing of the course because I start it the Thursday before the wedding. So I'll be too anxious about the wedding to get anxious about the first session. And then when we come back, the second session, I'll have already met everyone, so I won't get the like set first beginning a thing anxiety because I'll have already dealt with it. So it's timed itself perfectly, and it is my next coaching accreditation that will get me my professional coaching certification. So the next letters up, which is exciting. And it is a neurodivergent specific one. And so that's exciting as well. And yes, so that's basically what I'm doing to resolve the
And I
cross.
mean, I think it's a general thing that everybody has it, but I suppose our brains are more wired to take it
Yeah.
worse. Anyway, that's a tangent, but because of that, I mean, I wasn't really there for very long. I only went for a few hours after my husband finished work. But then I didn't feel very well the next day, and I don't know now whether it was because I'd been winding myself up, wondering what I was going to wear, and I didn't know what time my husband was going to be getting home, so I didn't know what time we were going to be there, and that all. And then I've had a busy couple of weeks with work, it feels like. A lot.
Positive.
Things have started ramping up, but equally because of that, that's a change again from what I just got used to in a way. So I'm trying to be sensible and say I'm just going to try and stop for now and let the new things all bed in before I start looking for more.
Very sensible.
It's a thing that probably I wouldn't have recognised and I wouldn't have put in place with myself before knowing I was autistic.
Yes.
So I'm quite proud of myself for that, but I think it's heightened my level. Like last time, if you listened to one of our previous episodes, you'll have heard me say about the bucket of like things in your bucket.
Yes.
And obviously, although that's a good and positive thing, it's still added to the bucket of, am I going to be able to do this? Do I know what I'm doing? And that sort of thing.
You've got to let the level normalize,
The
stabilize
level and what's it going
before.
to be like and that sort of thing. And so anything else that dropped in, like things like one of my other hyper focuses really has been Bernie again, the dog, because she has skin allergies anyway, but she's been so itchy these past few weeks and it's been waking us up 2 or 3 times a night. And generally, she wakes up sometimes and she'll go and have a lick of my husband's head and then she'll go back to sleep. That's just enough for her. She's just been so uncomfortable. And because of the past with her being poorly, I get quite worried about going to the vets and overthink it a lot. But luckily, I've got a really good vet that understands my brain and understands needing to have things written down. But then I'd misunderstood one of the instructions and I was like overthinking that. And then the other thing has been all of the weeds in the garden again. Very obsessed with ragwort at the minute. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it was becoming a problem over the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go into it too much because people probably don't care about or know as much about ragwort as I do at this stage. It's a weed that it sounds like it's got a bit of a bad rep because it can be harmful to wildlife and animals and things. But equally, it's a really important weed for ecosystems. Like there's over 10 species of insects that only eat that.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
So there's a whole like other side of it that people are saying, oh, you shouldn't dig it up and
But if it's a danger to your dog, then you're
but
going
if
to
it's a
dig it
danger
up.
to your
Yeah.
dog, yeah. But the thing is, and this is why it's been a hyper focus, why I've overthought it is there's no definite data on like how much you would need to have or the dog would need to have for it to become a problem.
Yeah.
And because we need data as autistic people to reassure ourselves, the lack of that and of a definitive thing to say, oh, 1 or 2 leaves would be fine.
Yeah.
Because it can be like different strengths and things.
Yeah.
I couldn't settle. There's one plant left in the back garden, but we think we've got anything that potentially could be that out of the lawn. The lawn looks a right state, but I don't really care so long as Bernie's all right.
Yeah.
But it's probably one of the things I've overthought and hyper focused about and obsessed about the most in recent times, and I think that's because my bucket was already approaching being full, and
Yeah.
it's just topped it over, and it's not necessarily been about the weeds. If I hadn't have had anything else in my bucket, it wouldn't have been as big a problem. I would have
Essentially.
just, like, sometimes my husband will say to me, "Oh, you dealt with that really well."
Yeah.
And that's because
You're
if you've got
fine at
one
that
thing
time.
that's overwhelming you,
Yeah.
you can deal with it and you can be more logical. But when you've already got 10 things in your bucket, or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? You're just like,
Yeah.
no, this is just like the worst thing in the world. And I've had similar things before, and always around times where I'm already reasonably overwhelmed,
Yeah.
that I just like, I obsess over it, and it's just like it's the end of the world. And I know that it's not.
Yeah. And at the moment, a lot of the stuff you've got going on is really positive. But as you say, even though it's positive, it's still a thing. You have
Still,
to kind of,
yeah.
it's the same with me at the minute. All of my stuff is, the majority of it is really positive, but it's still stuff and it's great. But we've got to kind of get out of the, oh, I shouldn't complain about this because it's positive. Well, yeah, but you're not complaining about it. It's just an observation and knowing that you still have to go easy on yourself when the positive things are happening, just as much as you do when the negative things are happening,
Mm.
because there's still things and
It's
yeah,
still something for you, whether it's good or bad,
yeah,
it's still something that your brain has to
yeah,
process and categorize and file. And so
yeah.
in some cases, like with your book,
Hmm.
not get over's the wrong word, but like not try to get too hyper focused and consumed by it.
That's the thing, and in a few minutes going to be talking about, but
Mm,
it's the risk of the positives to take over and to become, you could become the risk to become obsessive over something
mm-hmm,
and for it to be like a new special interest, essentially to a degree, the masses of hyperfocus. And when you're overwhelmed in general, that hyperfocus is so much more difficult to keep
mm-hmm.
a control of and to be mindful of eating and drinking and taking breaks and not obsessing to the point at which it's limiting or having an impact on your daily routine and self-care and self-preservation, and all of that stuff. Because hyperfocus is a difficult one. And when you're overwhelmed, if you're worried about something, then it can spiral very quickly. And
Yeah,
that's when
because you've got less capacity to be logical about
yeah,
it,
to take a
I
step back and
think.
say, hang on a minute, right? This is a thing. Be wary of,
Yeah, especially I've said that so much this week is for other people, you can be calm and
yeah,
helpful and work through it for them and give them advice, but you just are so rubbish at taking it for yourself.
yeah,
If someone else were telling me all of the things that I've been worried about, I'd go, well, it's not, it's a filter, isn't it? Because I don't have that same experience as them. I'm going to be able to approach it in a sort of calmer and more logical way, but
yeah. It's like
it's
when
a
I
really
looked up,
difficult thing to do for yourself, I think, especially, I
yeah.
mean, I've never been a neurotypical person, but I imagine.
No, I had a message from someone yesterday saying, do neurotypical people not do this? And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't, I don't think so. That was the singing thing. Someone had seen my
Mm,
singing to remember things reel that I did, which was obviously a fantastic reel of me singing the word meds and various other words to the tune of No Limits by Two
mm,
Unlimited. Not sponsored by, not doing the jingle, not sponsored by anyway. But I was just like, I don't know if people do that when they're neurotypical because I've never been a neurotypical person. So
mm,
the need to figure out ways to remember things is less neurotypical. I imagine doing it out loud probably isn't very neurotypical, but I don't know. I know what neurodivergent behavior is, but I don't necessarily, I struggle sometimes with the comparison because I know what I used to try and be like,
mm.
but that's my impression of a neurotypical person.
Yeah,
So I guess, I don't know.
it's not actually being one, yeah.
No. So yeah, I think the answer is I think probably neurotypical people probably do something sometimes, but not as much.
It's the same as everything though, isn't it? What we always say about traits and, oh, everyone's a little bit autistic.
Yeah, they're all
It's
human nature.
more, everybody has some struggles with all of the traits and all of the things that we talk about. But
Most
when
of
it's
them.
pervasive and it's destructive sometimes to your life and consuming, and you can't do anything else, or you can't process something someone's saying because you're too stuck on something else, it's whether or not it affects your daily life
Yeah.
in a potentially detrimental way, not whether or like everybody's joints and knees hurt sometimes, but not everybody's got arthritis.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's definitely simplifying it,
No,
but that's the thing is, oh, everybody's a little bit autistic. No, we've said before, no, that's not how it works. You don't have a little bit of autism in your brain. Your entire brain is neurodivergent,
yay.
which
Yeah.
is fun.
It's all fun. Everything is fun.
So that's it, really, aside from obviously if you ever want to know about any of the weeds that are in your garden.
Just ask
But
Claire.
I probably know about them at this point. I've educated on you on a new one today,
Yeah.
haven't I?
And it's got
Called
a really lovely name.
Self-Heal, it's called.
Self-heal.
And
And
it's
it's like
lovely
that as
little,
well, isn't it? It's spelt like self-heal, like
yeah, lovely little
self-healing.
purple flowers. A lot of like wild plants are ones that historically were used as like treatments and
Yeah.
tinctures. And in fact, even ragwort's becoming one of my special interests, isn't it?
It's okay. You're all right. It
Oh,
will
even
pass.
like historically, ragwort was used as a treatment. I can't remember what it was.
All right. Well, I mean, it's like,
Mm.
I imagine it's because the St. John's wort, isn't there? With the, it might just be another wart that's similar because that's helps with
I'm gonna
hormonal
have to say
regulation.
it now, just so that I've said it on the
That's fine.
podcast in case anyone cares about ragwort as much as
I imagine it's another one of the similar kind of family, maybe. That's a guess. That's me guessing.
Antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, tumor inhibitory, and antiparasitic something. Anyway, yeah. So from what I've read, it's not all bad, and it's sort of been a bit demonized in the press and things like that because of the effects that it can have, and it's affecting all these different insects and parasites that feed off the insects, and then that makes me feel a bit bad because I don't want them to die.
No. But at the same time, you also
Don't
there
want
are other places that don't have. We were talking about this before we started recording, weren't we? Because I have a thing with foxgloves, and I'm absolutely terrified of foxgloves because of the toxicity to cats, and because my cats are idiots. And I'm not going to say that my child's an idiot because he isn't, but he's also a child, and he touches things and then doesn't wash his hands because he's a child. So we had a load of foxgloves, and foxgloves are so lovely, and there are some people love having them in their gardens. But I'm terrified because I don't want the cats to get near them and I don't want my son to get near them. So I get rid of them. And the insects will go where there are the things. There's other things like you mentioned having a bee bomb in your garden, didn't you? So
Yes.
some of the somewhat so it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You can't.
But I think the issue with ragwort is that it's got such bad press that people are digging it up. And sometimes they're digging up things like St. John's wort because it's been misidentified.
Well, St. John's wort is toxic to as well.
Castle.
Cattle as well. Because I did just a quick Google. And they're not related, but St. John's wort is also toxic to cattle and grazing animals and horses.
Yeah.
Do you want to share, just for any listeners who have been wondering for months about the outcome of a certain thing that happened that was distressing earlier in the year regarding a car? Don't know if you want
Oh,
to
yeah.
share that.
So if you were here at the beginning of the year, you will know that my husband's car was stolen in the middle of the night, and we had no idea where it had gone. And I was hyper focused, I think, for weeks and weeks on trying to figure out where it had gone because I don't like not having endings to things. And is that an autistic
It's a
thing, not
weird.
having like
Yeah,
a
yeah. Not having, not closing. It's
conclusion?
closing the loops. Closing loops is an autistic
Yeah.
thing. But I have to point out, Claire, it was episode 20. So it's 10,
Oh
it's exactly 10
my
episodes
God.
ago since a cow's been stolen, which was the name of the
A
episode. So
car's
yeah, it was
been stolen.
episode 20, and now this is episode 30.
Yes. And so on Friday night at about 10:30, my husband got a text message from the local police saying, "Can you contact us on 101 with this reference number?"
10:30 at night.
So we got a text message from 101, and I'm like, "You need to ring them now." And he's like, "I'm not ringing them. It's 10:30 at night." I'm like, "But I need to know. It might be to do with your car." So he did ring them after we went to the vets on the Saturday, and it's been found in Exeter,
Wow.
which, if you're not from the UK, is literally the
The other
other
side of
end
the
of the
country.
country, in Cornwall. And it had been sold, we think, to somebody unsuspecting. The license plate had been changed and everything, which is apparently a thing that they do. So they've swapped the computer over, which is why the mileage has gone up by God knows how much.
Yeah.
And they've changed the license plate to that car.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, so there's a conclusion to it 6
Yeah.
months afterwards,
Happy
because it
conclusion
was
times.
the beginning of January
Wow.
that it's been found.
Well, there we go. Win-win.
So
It just dawned on me then, and I was like, "Oh, this is a conclusion." We like closing loops, don't we?
yeah,
So
but
it's
now I want more information about it, which we'll never get because
no.
obviously the car was all paid out and everything, so it belongs to the insurance company now.
Yeah,
But I was saying though, I'd love to know like
where it's been.
where it's been and like, yeah. So that's the summary to the car story. If anybody else like myself was
I'm
left
wondering.
hanging on the
Yeah,
story,
to know.
now you know a lot more than you knew presumably before this podcast.
It's a useful thing for people to learn about all
Educational.
sorts. Educational podcast about
Yeah.
all sorts of things.
We say it's about autism and life
Autism and life. Yes,
and random animal facts, and apparently
absolutely.
that has now spread to random
Random.
plant facts.
Yeah,
And I don't doubt that there will be more because I think plants are becoming my new special interest, or at
which
least
is
weeds.
that's fine. It's all fine.
At least weeds.
Before I go into my bit,
Hmm.
I want to just say two things. The first one is that our last spoonless episode was episode 24. So we've had 5 spoon-free episodes
Yep.
in a row, which I think is a testament to us and perhaps a testament to the fact that you are no longer employed by a person. So I think that that's happy.
Were all the spoonlessness my fault?
No, no, no. But I mean, I generally, if one of us says, "Can we do a spoonless episode?" the other one goes, "Yes," because it's less
Mm,
effort. I don't think
mm.
that we would ever sort of cancel someone out, would we? And usually there's
It
plenty of reasons.
coincides,
It
doesn't it?
coincides quite, but I think it's been because you're helping me more as well with my business. So, that takes
Mm.
pressure off me. It's a win-win, you not having a job, not having an employed
I have
job.
a job. I do. And
Yeah. Oh,
now I haven't got a job. Now I haven't got a job. And I'm like, I
yeah.
haven't got a job.
I'm the
The boss
same
is
though.
me.
I did that for years and years. Anyway, yes, so that's happy. Everything's happy. And
Everything's
the other thing I wanted to mention is the name of the podcast, the name of the last podcast, which was the whole music tangent, which of course from the previous episode was the hold music tangent, the
Yes.
great hold music tangent of episode 28 that we
Yes.
discussed in episode 29. Descript is getting a lot better at understanding our words, which is unfortunate given that we named the podcast based on its errors. But usually there's something weird that we say in an episode, so we can hopefully carry on with our random names of podcasts rather than having to be all sensible and call them something for a reason.
I'm going to say there definitely will be one in this
Yeah, I think
episode, even if Descript
we'll figure something
is
out.
attempting to ruin our lives.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
all changed, and I want to send a strongly worded email to Descript saying you do realise
We're
that
autistic.
we're autistic.
Why are you changing things?
Why are you changing things?
Why do you now know what our email address is without us having to correct it? But that is a positive.
I mean, it's bloody AI, isn't it?
There are positives. But anyway, that was the name of the podcast. And now shall I talk about my stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you want to do a middle section of Take That?
Oh, we can do a middly crossover. A middly
Yeah.
crossover. That could be a name of a podcast. The middly crossover. Yeah, so we had a joint social thing, which was very lovely on
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Historically, we've had, haven't we, social gatherings without leaving the house.
Yes.
And
We
that was
made it
prior
famous.
to the
We made it
Tism as
famous
well.
before it was cool.
Yeah.
We didn't make it famous, but we did it before it was cool. We've always done social gatherings without leaving the house because we've always lived quite a fair distance apart from each other.
Mm,
And so we do have we'll watch the same thing and then just message throughout thing every now and then, don't we? But we've
yeah.
also in person gone to several Take That gigs together.
Hmm.
Shows, gigs. They're not really gigs, are they? Shows. We'll go with shows. My first proper show that wasn't a gig as such, where people play their own instruments, was Take That in 20 years ago in 2026 when they did the reunion gig. A reunion gig, I'm saying it. When they
Mm,
did the reunion show thing, and that was since then, I think I've gone more to shows because that's what they are. They're extravagant. Like it's not
yeah, yeah.
people playing music. They have all sorts of weird and wonder. And this was a circus, wasn't it? And it was epic.
Mm,
It was really good. It was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I sang along. And I don't sing in the house generally, which is
no.
I used to a lot, but then I get really self-conscious about singing in front of my fiance, and that's a RSD thing and perfectionism thing because
Mm,
I don't like to think I know I'm not the best singer in the world, and so the fact that I'm an average singer probably doesn't help because I'm not perfect, and therefore I feel like I'll be judged every second, and I don't want him to think, oh, there's something,
mm.
this is another thing that Emma's not great at, which is not how the
No,
reality
that's not
works.
how.
Not
No.
how reality works at all, but in my brain, I'm like, yeah, I just don't sing because I feel like I'm being judged. So to be able to do that, and I carried on as well when he came down the stairs because he did bedtime for the first time with me being in the house since we moved in together. It was the first time
Mm.
he'd done bedtime on his own, and it went smoothly, which was a massive win.
Oh, good.
But I carried on singing when he came downstairs, and it was just so nice to be able to just, it's such a, take that as such a key part, I think, of our safe places.
Mm-hmm. We
And they've
said
all,
that, haven't we, that
yeah,
it's
we,
like you hear the music and it's sort of, it's so all the happy memories and different times that we've sung the songs because
we
many,
just,
many houses ago, which is, will, you know, we'll be able to relate it to a chapter in your book.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
we used to like you had like
take that,
SingStar
Sing Star.
parties, didn't you?
Yeah,
And you had to
Sing Star.
take that SingStar,
Yeah,
and there were specific bits of it that my brain hadn't processed, I think. So I was struggling to get the backing vocals right.
yeah,
And you'll be pleased to know that 15, 20 years later, I fully like
fine.
I nearly sent you a
Mm.
message saying I could do those backing vocals
Yeah,
now.
could totally do
I
it now.
definitely could.
Wouldn't have a problem.
I was
Yeah,
doing them on
yeah,
Saturday night, so
yeah. I think Shine is our biggest one, isn't it? That we,
that was
because
it, yeah.
the, on Sing Star, on Take That Sing Star, the song Shine, the backing vocals is essentially do, do, do,
Mm.
and then like all the, yeah, all that. And it's like you have to, it splits it into a duet, and it's not
Yeah,
really a duet, but it is on there.
yeah,
And it's quite tricky, isn't it? But it was
yeah,
a fun time, super happy fun
yeah.
time.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a good because you. I think it came at a good time for you as well, and because you'd sort of forgotten about it, and then you're like, no, let's do it.
Well, because on Saturday I finished formatting my book, the main chunk of it, and
Mm,
I had probably about three hours in the house on my own, which never happens, or very, very rarely happens, that I
mm,
have 3 hours in the house on my own with no child and no fiance. And it happened on Saturday, and I was going to do some embroidery, and I worked on my book the whole time, and then I had to go and pick my son up. And so I was grumbling about having lost my alone time, and then my fiance did bedtime, so I got an hour and a half when he was upstairs. Well, it wasn't quite
mm,
an hour and a half, but just over an hour when he was upstairs with my son, watching Take That with Claire in my house on my own with, I was supposed to be crocheting, but I didn't. I got caught up with dancing instead and singing.
mm.
He came downstairs and he's like, oh, you've done loads of crochet, haven't you? And I'm like, don't be silly. It's still in the bag.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
still downtime though, isn't it?
it
And it
was absolutely perfect timing for me for what my brain needed. And I think it was for you as well, wasn't it?
mm, yeah, yeah, because we've
Yeah.
been up early taking the dog to the vet, and I was just thinking, oh, I'll come home because I think I went to my mum's as well.
Yeah.
and pretty much rushed back because I thought it started at 8 o'clock and it didn't. And I'm sure that it said 8 o'clock at some point. It
It
really
was
annoyed
funny
me.
when you messaged me saying, "Oh, I think because we were both sat there waiting for it to start," and you're like, "Well, we've never been this early to take that show
Yeah.
start." Because normally we're like walking up the stairs at the Etihad in Manchester the last time when the Pet Shop Boys were on, and we were walking up like, "Oh, well, we've made it for the last two songs of the Pet Shop
Yeah.
Boys or something like that." Because I'm not one for being on time for things, but yeah, we were both there, and then it did a countdown, and it was exciting, and it was really good. And people have
Mm,
been posting pictures of being at the actual event, and I'm like, it would have been great to be there, but the fact that they
mm.
can do stuff like that now and they can stream it and you can sit on your sofa and get it as part of Amazon Prime and still access the atmosphere to a degree and the
Oh,
social
yeah,
aspect of
yeah.
it. And it's amazing, really. I was chuffed to
It
bits.
was a really good idea because I mean
Yeah,
they're always so in demand, the tickets as well, aren't they?
yeah,
And I think nowadays, as much as I'd love to be able to go, I think I would find it reasonably overwhelming, more overwhelming than I would have done when my skin was high. I coped with things differently to how I do now.
and I mean it's
Um,
yeah,
I probably would, but I probably wouldn't have got the same out of it as I did being able to just sit and watch it and see all the details of it
yeah.
and that sort of and
Imagine required.
enjoy it rather than being preoccupied with what my brain or the tangents my brain was going on. Because it
And
wasn't really going on any tangents during the entire time. It was just focusing on all of the
yeah,
stuff that was happening.
it was a lot of fun. I'm really chuffed
Yeah,
we did it. So that was a nice joint thing that we
it
did.
was.
Yeah. And my stuff has largely been book. So the first mention of the book on the podcast was episode 22, right? Which probably would have
Mm,
been late February, March time when I was going to have it written within a month. And obviously that didn't happen. My book has been mentioned a number of times. I
mm-hmm,
can't remember how much I said about it, but I have written a book. And you will be listening to this on Sunday or after Sunday. You are able to currently pre-order the ebook version on Amazon, and very soon you will be able to order the actual paperback version. I'm going to be announcing it to the world and telling everyone the link on the 30th of June. But you can pre-order the ebook now if you search for Emma Sales on Amazon, or if you search for Unpacked Neurodivergence and Moving House, which is the name of the book. You can pre-order it on Amazon Kindle, which is
mm,
exceptionally exciting. When I talk about it, I've been told that I sound not excited about it, but it's been such an enormous build up. And over the past weeks, I finished writing the book a week gone Thursday, so 10 days ago. And then I formatted it. And formatting it was 240 pages, over 66,000 words, formatted in a week. It took every ounce of my spare time last week to format this book, and it had to be done. And I was hyper focused in it, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. It was brilliant because
mm,
I mean, it wasn't just copying and pasting, but making sure all the tables fit and everything lined up, and the sentences were right, and the spacing was right, and the things were on the odd pages where they should have been on the odd left
mm-hmm.
hand page and the right hand page, and all of that. All the headers were consistent, and it's such a massive box ticking, autism friendly job is
Yes.
formatting a book. And it's completely took over my life for the past week. And so I finished it on Saturday afternoon. I finished putting the content in. On Sunday, I spent a couple of hours checking there was no full stops missing from the end of bullet points, and all of the stuff in quote marks was in single quote marks and not double, because I'd put some things in double and was italicized, and everything was consistent. And then I uploaded it yesterday afternoon, and it's been such a yeah, it's been such a huge thing. And so, yeah, if anyone wants to know, wants to read my book is great. It's called, as I've said, Unpacked Neurodivergence and Moving House. And it is about all of my experience of moving house. So, part one is the most recent time. There's loads of coaching tools in there. There's loads of references to my experience and other experiences. And there's a lot of things that cross over to other life areas that aren't moving. And then there's a part two, which is my experiences of moving prior to diagnosis. So all of the 14 times I moved house, I've written, there's not a chapter about every time because I moved house 3 times in 4 months when I was 16, and I moved house 3 times in 5 months when I was 21. So I've grouped some things into sort of time periods in my life.
Yeah.
But there's so many experiences in there. Some of them are traumatic, some of them are amusing, some of them are where I've made decisions based on impulsivity, and then autism's made me stick with them and follow through. And there's a lot of relatable stuff that's happened to me in my life that I know has happened to other neurodivergent people in their lives, but also I give hindsight. So every chapter in that part has lessons learned in hindsight. So it's got a summary of the takeaways, things that looking back on that time, as I've been writing the book, I can think that was because of this and that was because of this.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And it was really hard to write often. It was really emotional to write often, and formatting it as well was I got quite emotional because it's just so personal. But I've come so far in how I am with myself and how I speak to myself and how I accept that the way things are is the way things are. And
Mm.
I'm really proud of the work that I've done and of what my life is now, really. And that comes across, I think. The last chapter of part 2 is about the forever home, and it talks about how when I was writing part 2 of the book and I was stood in the kitchen and I was really upset, and then my fiance just came round and he was just pointing out things in the garden that we both appreciate so much.
Yeah.
And I sent a message to a friend on Saturday. I'm just a bit worried that it sounds smug. And she's like, no,
Mm.
it sounds like you were very unhappy for a long time and now you're happy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's what I want to get across. So, oh, I'm getting emotional. But
Mm.
yeah, so that's part 2. And then part 3, I've got 13 writers that have written a bit for the book that have written their story of moving house. You're one of them, which is exciting. And then I've got some people, some of them I knew, some of them I didn't know. And there's a variety of stories in there that have, as I've formatted them, because of course I got the submissions for the collaborators and I had them edited by my book editor, who is amazing, Sarah Davis, parenting copywriter. I'm shouting her out, not sponsored by.
Woo.
And she's also written a foreword for me, which is amazing. And then I hadn't really read them. I'd scanned a few of them, so I knew what the subjects were
Mm.
roughly. But when I was formatting them, the amount of honest, hard stories that people have put such effort into writing, and I'm really chuffed that, yes, I'm going to cry. I'm crying on the podcast.
Don't, because I need
No,
to not look.
don't look. So yeah, the book is being published this week, which is
Yeah.
epic, really.
And it definitely is this time. It's been such a huge undertaking that
Oh God, yeah.
I think, although you really wanted it to be out for a certain date, being able to give yourself permission to take your time and do it in the way that you wanted to,
It had to be right. It had to
it's,
include everything that I wanted it to include. I couldn't rush it. And if I'd have had to force myself to stick
yeah.
to the deadlines that I set myself, it wouldn't have been as good. And
But it
so,
was hard to accept, I think,
oh yeah,
because of how, obviously, that'll be the tism. Your brain's like, no, it's got to be this.
yeah,
It's very hard to go, actually, it can be something else, and that can be better for me and for the thing that
yeah,
I'm trying to do.
yeah. I mean, back in February, when I first spoke about the book, the traumatic parts for part 2, when I wrote those,
Mm,
they were taking over my brain and I had to get them out because it was causing quite significant
yeah.
burnout, really. And I had to get them out of my brain. But once they were out and done, and I had to do part 1, which was a lot less traumatic to write, a lot easier to write, even though it took me a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like 35,000 words. Part 1 of the book is essentially a whole book. There, I could have
Yeah.
just done that and published it, and it would have been fine. But I
Mm,
had to get that out of my head. But once I got those done, and I was on part 1, it just had to be right. It had to be
mm,
spot on, and it's going out there. It looks very professional. I've done all of the writing, I've done all of the editing. There's no AI assistance or anything else. I got the copywriting done by Sarah Davis, as I've said.
mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's all me. And I mean, the
Mm,
front cover was designed by a lady called Ebony Pace, who works for, she's a graphic designer. She's incredible also. But, you know, it couldn't be more me. And
Mm.
yeah, so there is a lot to be proud of.
Yes, definitely.
But having said that, I have a few things to finish for the resources and stuff that come with the book this week. And I'm running workshops and I've not given myself any time to process. So next week, I'm fully expecting to be completely useless and to just hide for the week, apart from
Mm.
when I'm working, because it's built up. It's been over 2 years since we moved into the house. And I decided to write the book about 3 or 4 months before we moved in.
Yeah.
And the build up to this, yeah, it's going to take some crash. I know that I'm going to crash. And
It's similar to what we were saying about weddings, isn't it?
yeah,
It's this big
absolutely.
thing that you're working
Yeah,
up towards, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do now?
yeah.
And
But
also you've got the processing of the fact that you've actually finished it and everything as
yeah,
well, and what people are going to think of it, and
yeah.
you know
I
what I
mean,
mean? That side of it
it's
going from being a concept that has existed in your brain to something that physically people can hold in the world and wherever they
yeah.
want to be in the world.
And it's quite strange because I'm not really worried about what people that I don't know think.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like some positive reviews from people that I do know
Mm-hmm.
and people that are in the book, but without being named. The only people that are named in the book are the collaborators, and some of the collaborators have changed their names for their own privacy, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then my name and my fiance's name, which I mean, I suppose I probably could say now, but I'm not going to because, tradition and all.
You'll
But
have to buy the book to
you have to
find
buy
out
the book to
whatever's
find
Beyonce's
out.
called.
Yes. Oh, the intrigue. That's a reason to buy a book, isn't
But
it? Yeah, but I've gained so much from having done it as an
mm-hmm.
experience. And I mean, there was going to be a series, but I'm in two minds about that now. I was going to do one about the wedding called Unveiled, Neurodivergence and Getting Married.
But I mean, it might be a good idea considering we've literally mentioned it
Yeah,
in this podcast, but give yourself a bit of a break
myself a
after,
bit of a break, yeah.
especially considering you are actually getting married
I'm actually 4 months.
in a few months'
Mm.
time. Yeah, I
So,
think it's
yeah,
okay to just not
yeah,
do another book straight away. But then whether or
I'm
not
not.
the ADHD part of your brain will be like, no, it needs to be now.
I'm unlikely to do any books this year. And as I've said in previous podcasts, it's been the hardest thing that I've done in my business life since I went self-employed 14 years ago.
Hmm.
It's been harder than changing career. That's another thing that I was going to write a book about, neurodivergence and changing career, but not right now.
Hmm.
But it's been the hardest thing that I've done in my business life. And
Yeah.
one of the hardest things in my personal life, really. I've written about some stuff and I've processed some stuff that I hadn't even thought about. And it was never a big deal. But when you think about your life and you think, oh gosh, yeah, that did happen. And that would have been because of
Mm.
this. And at the time, I beat myself up so much.
Yeah.
And even if it's not something that's impacted you like a lot going forward, thinking back to those times and to how you
Hmm.
behaved and to things you said and things you did. And I have so much more empathy for myself. And I
Yeah.
know when I was in therapy a few years ago, when I first started feeling the impact of therapy, one of the big things for me was to go from being annoyed at my past self to feeling
Mm.
sad for her because of situations that I have been in my life and the decisions I've made because I felt like they were my only choice.
Hmm.
And I remember feeling like they were my only choice and I couldn't do anything about it. But the amount I beat myself up for saying, I know I'm doing this for the wrong reasons and why am I doing it? And I can't do anything else, but I couldn't have done anything else. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from the book, and it's something I say a lot, is that
Mm.
every decision you make in your life is the right decision for that time, or it's at
Yeah.
least the only decision you can make in that moment. If
Hmm.
you do something knowing that it potentially isn't the best thing to do, and your brain's going, oh, it'll be fine, we'll figure it out. Sometimes you just can't do anything else, and you have to
Mm.
do that thing because it's the only thing that feels right in that moment or is possible. If you could make a different decision or do a different thing, then you would.
Yeah.
It's not ever something to go back and think, this was a really horrible thing to do and I did it on purpose to hurt
Mm.
that person, because it's very unusual
Mm.
that that's the reality, even though that's sometimes what we feel like. When you look back, it's like you can only ever do what you can do. And it's never something that you should beat yourself up for. And so,
No.
yeah, there's a lot of that in the book. But that's been my week. And there's been a lot of
Yes.
wedding crochet as well. I finished the first scarf again last night. But mainly book. And yeah, if anyone's interested in my book, it is available to purchase. I'm saying is because on Sunday, by
Yeah.
Sunday, it will be available to purchase in paperback as well, probably. But just hold off till Tuesday, if you don't mind. Because I'll give everyone the link on Tuesday, because if I can get the bestseller on Amazon, then that would be nice. But I'm not really too bothered. If you want to go and buy it now so you don't forget, please do. That's fine.
Well, potentially I could add it to the show notes on Tuesday.
We can add it to the show notes on Tuesday. But if you happen to be listening on Sunday or Monday and you want to buy it before you forget, because obviously it's an urgent must-have purchase, don't worry, I won't hate you if you buy it
It
before.
doesn't matter if you're moving house now. You can buy it if you've recently moved house. You can buy it if you might move house again in the future. You can just buy it because it's got advice that's applicable to other things.
You can buy it if you're nosy
Although
about my
it's
life.
about houses, also,
Mm.
yeah, if you can buy it if you just want to know about
You
all the
want to know
various.
about my life. It's
Yeah.
a fair chunk of biography in it. And I mean, I know a couple of people are buying it just to find out about my experiences, which is kind of nice. And also I completely get it, because I would be the same if it was
True,
someone else.
but the thing is, you've sent me previews of chapters, and I'm like, I didn't know that happened, or did I know that happened? And I'm like, I think I've
Yeah.
even said to you before,
Yeah.
I'm going to find out more about you from this book. Then,
I
like,
don't remember this. I'm like, well, you were there. Well, you
it's
weren't
like
there, but like
Easter eggs and things from your life.
there's a lot of self-acceptance and there's a lot of validation for past experiences. So if
Mm,
you have moved at some point in your life, and if you have beaten yourself up for things, and if you're thinking about moving, but you've got in your head, oh no, I can't move because it's too much hassle, or oh no, I can't broach that conversation because it's too difficult a conversation and he doesn't want to move and I want to move, or
mm,
she doesn't want to move and I want to move. All of that stuff is in the book. It's from broaching the subject of moving right through to new
yeah,
relationship dynamics at the other side. So yeah, it's good. This is really, really pitchy and I don't want it to be just
it's
a
not at
sales pitch,
all. It's not.
but yeah, I am super proud. But that's been my time. And that's why I am absolutely, because the hyper focus, I know we spoke earlier about
Yeah.
but the hyper focus, it's eaten every ounce of energy, focus. I've been angry. I've had my period as well, like while I've been formatting said book. So I was already emotional, I was already annoyed, and I was formatting a book. So I've been a nightmare to live with. And it's been all consuming hyper focus, like I haven't experienced for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done and
Mm,
it's on Amazon. And all I need to do is finish a spreadsheet, because there's an epic moving spreadsheet that comes with it, obviously. It comes as a free download with the book.
yeah.
I need to finish that. I've got a resources page that at the moment all it says on it is lol, I've written a book and now I have a week to write a resources page.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to be done. I'm going to do a launch party, I think, online sometime. I'm going to do an actual launch party for anyone local to East Manchester. I've been in person one, but I need to speak to some people. And then there's just promoting it. So yeah.
So
Book
it'll
time.
be in the down there, the link at some point in the show notes,
But the ebook
along
link
with
can
all
go
of
in. We can
them.
put the ebook link in the show
Ow,
notes to
other
start with,
links.
because they are separate on Amazon. The paperback book isn't linked to the ebook and it won't be until Tuesday. So it's safe to put the ebook link in the show notes. But I mean, people can search on Amazon and they'll find it because, it's there.
Yeah, it is
So
there.
yes. And if anyone wants a signed copy, you can buy one on my website, navigatingneurodivergence.co.uk/unpacked.
Which is all, well, aside from the unpacked part, also where you would find out about Emma and working with Emma.
Yes, you would,
And
yeah. All
having
on
Emma
social.
speak about things
Yeah,
that you
I like
might
talking
want
about
her to
things.
speak about
Yeah.
relating to neurodivergence.
Oh,
She probably won't speak as much about random animal facts in
probably
a
less,
professional life,
maybe.
but you never know.
I don't know. And where can we find you, Claire?
I am at Tate.
Yes,
That is my name.
it's very
I'm
good.
a virtual assistant that supports small business owners with all of the admin things that their brains cannot deal with.
Well done.
And it is a link tree which ends in take care of it.
Yes,
And it will be in the show notes. We
we
also have a link tree for that'll be the Tism.
we do, with all of our socials in linktr.ee/that'll be the Tism.
Yes. Yeah, rate us, like us on all of the platforms, in all
Yeah.
of the places, because it helps other people to find us, and that's what we
Does.
want to happen.
Do.
To let other people know about all of this stuff that
Random.
we talk about
Random things. But
occasionally.
we will be back in 3 weeks because
Yep.
Claire is doing a holiday
Oh, yeah.
in a fortnight, which is exciting for Claire.
I'm going to exactly the same place as I've been many times, but we've never been in the summer, so
Exciting.
it'll be lovely because we've always said, oh, we'd like to go there in the summer, and it'll be lovely to sit out on a night, and we never have. So that's my belated 40th birthday present from my husband.
Oh,
It's
lovely.
going in the summer.
And then you can come back and talk about it the following week
Yes.
in July.
All being well.
Mhm. Thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Yes, thanks for coming. You've been a great laugh. I haven't said that in a while.
No, you haven't. Yeah, and we'll be back in 3 weeks. So we will speak to you then.
And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
That'll be the Tism.